Hi there, my name is Riley Duran and I will be presenting the topic of arson. I do have my little notes right over here, so I will be looking over just to see my little key points I have to discuss today. But alrighty, let's get started. So I have three topics I'm going to be discussing, all under arson. History of arson, why is arson a crime, and the punishments of arson if you commit them. So alright, let's start with that history of arson. For thousands and hundreds of years, we've been using fire to light things, burn things, such as we light bonfires. They can be safe, but we also use fire to make food. So fire can be safe. It does not have to be dangerous, and it gets dangerous when you make and fulfill the act of arson. So in the 17th and 18th century, the United States legislation changed the legislation process of arson, protecting home and property and personal properties more, adding prosecution for any malicious damage caused by the act of arson. And in the 19th century, sorry, I'm just getting over the flu, so I appreciate that. But in the 19th century, regarding arson had completely changed, and by the 19th century, majority of all states in the United States viewed and charged arson as a property crime, resulting in a decrease of arson crimes occurring and demonstrating the importance of arson in the legal aspect. So by having the legislation change of arson, just shows that the United States government is taking these crimes serious, that you can't get away with it, and that it had to be changed. So that's just a little bit about the history of how the legal side of arson came into the United States. However, why is arson a crime? By committing arson includes the dangerous act, including a threat to society's safety, causing harm or death to structures or people by fire. In addition, arson is considered a crime because it's the intentional act of starting a fire, ultimately causing potential harm, social disruption, and financial impact. Just like any other crime, there's usually a investigation to follow up. This investigation is usually managed by your local fire department. So when this investigation starts, there's going to be three things that are going to be kind of looked for, such as, did the arsonist plan the arson? Did they have all the needed tools, and did they plan this in advance? That'll be something that we'll look into, kind of determining and letting the investigator know where the arsonist's mind was at all of this, as well as where was the where was the arsonist at the time of the fire. But they also don't have to be there. So it's just another key thing that will be investigated. Lastly is the purpose or the goal in the fire, and was evidence destroyed during the fire. So for the purpose and goal, was it just to start the fire? Was it to harm people? Was it to burn down a structure? Did they have a target? All these things will be looked into by the investigator, and will kind of figure out what was the main purpose, what was the goal, what was the intention of this fire, and the arsonist's intention of the fire. However, and moving on lastly to my last point, is the punishment of arson. As for punishments, can vary by each state. For this one, arson will be focused on California criminal laws. Arson is an attempt to burn something, and it is a felony charge. However, there can be further danger to others' life or property and can result in other potential charges depending on the arson, whether it's just property, aggravated arson, structure or forest land, and if there's any great bodily injury. This felony crime can include prison time, fines, restitution, and can put you part of California's 3 strikes system. So those are just a few options that might be results if you commit arson. However, focusing on forest land, that might not be something that's super crazy, but if you start a fire in a national forest, that will get you more harsh crimes versus if you just start a fire in a field. So because that's protected land by our government and California, that there's just certain things you cannot do that will get you harsher crimes or harsher sentencing. And then if you're questioning about California's 3 strike system and you're not aware of it, you get 3 chances, 3 felony crimes. Each strike is supposed to deter you from committing another felony crime. However, if you commit the 3 crimes, you will get harsh, superior, really tough sentencing. So that's just a little bit about that. Don't want to go too deep into that. However, in ending, by committing arson, it's an extremely dangerous and criminal act, possibly deadly, and it can be it can be unpredictable and uncontrolled. Fires have no path. From California, we're used to wildfires, so by someone intentionally starting a fire is so sad. So arson is overall a malicious and selfish act that deserves significant consequences, and those were just my research about the topic of arson. And then I have all my references right here. I have 3. They're all titled arson. However, they are from Cornell Law School, the California legislature, and then the FBI. So I will also tag these in my submission to this homework assignment. But yeah, that is my video on arson, and I hope we all learned a little bit something about the history of arson, why arson is a crime, and the punishments if you commit arson. Alrighty, my name is Riley Duran, and yeah, bye.